Look, we are just about to commence our awards. Now, can I just ask people if you can please just take a seat towards the centre? That will work better for acoustics and presentation.
Come on now.
So if you're sitting up the back there, guys, if you don't mind towards the centre, plenty of seats there in the middle. Please just come across. Thank you. Now, in a moment, we will commence our awards, but before we do, we have been blessed with a keynote speaker this evening. Many of you came to know this man through a relentless pursuit of public service, and doing it the hard way, paying the price, and teaching us all how you really can trust politicians occasionally.
Oh, yes.
There is something really special when you can contact a member of parliament and they get back to you. And when your phone rings and that member of parliament's on the other end, it's a life changer. Automatically you are raised, lifted, and you realise that someone really gives a stuff, really cares. And I don't know about you, but I don't know, as much as I thought I wanted to be a member of parliament, a politician, an elected politician, I don't know if I have the kahunas to do it. It's a tough gig, and imagine if you are the type of human being that realises that you are what I call a Mr. Smith. Now, in 1939, Frank Capra released a film called Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Has anyone seen it? If you haven't seen it, it's one of the greatest films you will ever see, about a character played by Jimmy Stewart, who ends up a senator literally by chance when an older senator dies. The Senate leader comes home, he's got a bunch of kids, and he says, we're going to install this guy. And all these kids laugh at their own father and say, he's a puppet. And he goes, well, who do you want? They go, we want Jeff Smith. And this young, green-eyed Jimmy Stewart makes it to the US House, Congress, becomes a senator, and he just happens to stumble across corruption and how he deals with it. And it's a foremost. And it is incredible. So when you see something like that as you're growing up, it inspires you to think, well, maybe I can be that guy. Maybe we can work something out here. Now, Craig Kelly was one of these characters that was a bit of a Mr. Smith. Jared Rennick is a Mr. Smith in many ways. And there are others as well that get up and fight for lost causes, because as Jimmy Stewart says in the movie, they're the only causes worth fighting for. The hardest thing is that Russell Broadbeck said to me once, was we need more politicians willing to lose. And that's how we make a change. Now, we don't see that very often, do we? On the contrary, that's not what we see. We see ways of weaseling and tricking us, and telling us that this is how it is and it's not, and the same people get re-elected. In May, we saw a fellow in Sydney, Matt Cameron-Zulli, take on Chris Bowen, give it one hell of a shake, and go his absolute hardest, and get 10% vote. That's how hard it is, and he spent a fortune. It made sense, and got onto mainstream media, doing all the things that we thought that you could do, and it's difficult. But you don't not do it because it's difficult, you try harder. That's why we're here, because we honestly believe that we've got to do things differently and try harder. Today, when we heard from Adrian McRae, who was inspired by that interview with John?
Definitely.
And that's the point. It is a battle, but one that we're all born for, and the one that made us all come here tonight. So, about 6 years ago, former Senator Jared Rennick got elected to Parliament for the Liberal Nationals in Queensland. And somewhere along that journey, the establishment didn't like the fact that he was representing his constituents. And he made me proud, he inspired me, like many others have been inspired, and he did the hard work that all of us would love every politician to work just as hard. And we are blessed that former Senator Jared Rennick is here tonight to deliver our keynote speech before we announce our Independent Media Awards. Would you please make him welcome, Jared Rennick.
good speech, and it was such a good speech, I think it showed me up already, because it was very to the point, and I guess that's what I want to talk about tonight, because I actually don't like the name of this summit, and I've never liked the word freedom, and I don't like the word freedom if it's not spoken in the same terms as responsibility, because for too long, and it reminds me of the 1980s and early, well for me the 1980s, when I had to listen to the neoliberals talk about free markets. And of course, you know, to me that was an oxymoronic statement because I've never been to a market that's free. I've always had to pay for something. There's only two outcomes in a market. You're either making money or you're losing money. Okay? I believe in making money. And when I talk, I believe in actually basically being able to derive an outcome from that discussion. So if I'm just shouting at the clouds, or I'm boring somebody, or I'm just whinging and wailing, that is not productive speech. So I'm more interested in speech that actually is going to win the argument and get an outcome for the betterment of this country. And that's what we need to be focused on. And I was actually talking to Michael Gray, he's here tonight somewhere before, and we were talking about how in the social media circles, basically we're just become an echo chamber on social media. We're talking to ourselves. And as Jason very pointed out very well, is that we've got to do the work. It's actually one of the reasons, it's interesting this, it's harder for me now as an ex-senator to try and start a new party, not because I don't have money or anything like that, you know, you're not paid to do it, because you've actually got to bring people along than it was for me to actually be a politician. Because once you're a politician, you can sit there and you can shout at the clouds all day long, and we see that, you know, with the majors and some other minors who are very good at getting on the airwaves and complaining, but they don't actually have solutions. And that is what I'm interested in, and that is what, you know, one of the, I actually, you know, I was reading this, when I was in my prior life recruiting someone once, and I was reading their CV, and they had a fantastic line at the bottom of the one-page, you know, executive summary, and it said, "I'm very good at influencing decision makers." And I actually stole that bit of off their CV and whacked it onto my CV. And the reason why I did that was because that is what it's all about. Steve, I'm sure you appreciate this as well. If you're trying to sell a product or an innovative idea, it is very hard to change someone's opinion. And I guess that's the point of speech to me. I think to just define speech in terms of whether it's free or not is very flippant. I mean, obviously I know the angle you're coming at here is about government overreach. Yes, we're aware of that, we know that, we've been talking about it for a very long time. That is something we will live with, and it's something our ancestors have had lived with. I mean, that's the great thing about the war of Revolutionary War in 1776. Was that basically, you know, the patriots and the settlers, the colonialists in the 13 settlements overthrew the British establishment in the US. So, you know, the freedoms we have today have only been around for a couple of hundred years, and even then they're not really absolute, and even in the countries that think they're free. So I guess the point is that we've got to be able to actually use speech in a way that enables us that empowers us to get on with living the life we want to live in the way we want to live it. And I guess that's where, you know, and I'll you know, so, you know, this is why I'm continuing to fight, even though I'm not in politics, but I'm going to continue to fight in a manner that is in an organised manner. Because I'm sure many of you vote for the minor parties. I'm sure many of you get frustrated at what the major parties do, how they continue. As Jason pointed out, you know, Matt Kemazuli only got 10% of the vote against a guy as stupid as Chris Bowen. But this is where we have to become more organised. This is where we need a better ground game. You have been badly let down by some of the other minor parties who've never created branches. You cannot expect to drop in a Caulfield candidate at 5 minutes to midnight and expect that you're going to get more than 2 or 3% of the protest vote. Even those people who aren't happy with the government of the day will choose one of the two major parties because they see them as a viable alternative, not necessarily a solution, but a viable alternative. We have to become more organised amongst the minor party movement, and the way we have to do that is to actually get a better ground game by having branches and doing grassroots campaigning, things like door knocking, things like dropping off leaflets, holding fundraiser events, setting up stalls at the markets, so that we can put these people and these ideas out there so that people become aware of us, and not only become aware of us, but see us as a viable alternative, because that's where we're struggling at the moment. If you look at the crossbench in the Senate, who are the most publicised crossbench senators in the Senate? You want to pick the three of them? Pauline, Lydia Thorpe, and Jackie Lambie. What sort of impression do you think those three senators make out there in the mainstream? The media blow those people up because that reinforces the view in the mainstream. Oh, look at those crazy crossbench senators. Why would you vote for them? Okay, they won't talk about other crossbench senators in the way that they talk about those three because it suits their narrative. It's easy clickbait, but they don't really offer solutions. So when people go to the ballot box, they will go, well, we're not going to vote for those guys. We might put a protest vote there, but we're going to go back to the major parties. So it's very, very important when we're talking about speech is that we start using it in a manner that is going to just get us out of our own echo chambers and out there amongst the masses. And that will not be easy because we're up against it today. I mean, we've got basically three forms of communication. One's mainstream media. How much attention do we get there in the mainstream media? Zero, or maybe 1 or 2%, and that 1 or 2% will be at the moment you make a mistake. That's what they'll amplify. The other thing will be social media, and I do think we are winning on social media platforms, but yet again, that will only get you so far. But that will increase, I should add, especially on TikTok and a few of these other platforms. That is growing for sure. And then the other form, of course, is grassroots campaigning. And that is the one thing that the right is doing very badly, and that's why the Greens are doing much better than us, is because they've got a young army of enthusiastic people that go out and do door knocking. They go out, they manage to get themselves in the news for their rallies, rightly or wrongly. But that's what we need to be capitalising on, is the energy and the enthusiasm. And I know we saw that with People First, and I want to acknowledge my good friend John Armfield, who ran here locally in Fadden. But that's what we need to do, because if we get out there and we're seen on the ground, we're seen being professional and polished and rational, not emotional, not name calling. We've got to have actual solutions. And by the way, you know, this is how we pitch it. People First are pitching themselves. We're not a left or right party. We're an issues party. We're a solutions party. You know, people come up to you and say, what sort of politician are you? You're not going to say I'm left wing or right wing, because that immediately frames the debate in a way that's going to alienate 50% of the population. We don't want to do that. We just want to solve the problem, and that's what we want to do. And that, I guess, is my point about speech in general, notwithstanding that we obviously have issues about government control. But if we want to do something about that, we need to get the control ourselves. We need to take power, and that's what democracy is all about. It is about empowering the individual and holding the unrestrained authority of the institutions, whether it's big government, big corporations, big media, big super funds, to account. Because any large organisation, and it doesn't matter whether it's public or private, the natural tendency in these organisations is for the yes men to climb to the top, right? Because if you're not a yes man and you speak up, what happens? Yeah. You get thrown out of the organisation because you're not going along with the crowd, okay? So we need, if we want to actually influence the key decision makers, we need to do that in a way that is, I just said, professional and polished. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the conference on the weekend. Thanks to the organisers for putting it on. Congratulations.
So the winners were the 2025 Independent Media Gala Awards.
Oh, isn't it? I support you.
Hello everyone. I feel like I'm meant to ding the bell and tell you to go from the loop or off from the
But before we get into it though, I mean, what an amazing speech after today. listening to all the speeches that went on about media, how we need to influence the culture.
Yes.
But yes, at the end of the day, this is what you're talking a bit about tomorrow, this is what I'm talking about tomorrow. How do we actually breathe our values in politics? How do we actually get involved? And that's what we're all about in terms of this particular conference, why Jamie put it on. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we all get on each other. Yeah, we have a few scotches, a few beers together. But how are we actually going to set this right for our kids and our grandkids? And so, without further ado, before we get into any more of that, let's get into some awards.
I think that would be great.
So, as you would have seen, Jamie alluded to throughout the day,
wow.
there are a number of speakers, and yes, we're joined by these lovely models that have actually honoured to come out and actually give these awards out. Thank you, Jamie. When it comes to the actual awards that we're doing today, they range from journalistic aspects, courage, integrity, looking through actual details of an actual story.
So what I like is it's an acknowledgement of the work that people are doing in trying to get a message out there in areas that are traditionally overlooked. And that's what becomes independent media. And this is the point, new ideas, different approaches, etc. And it's fascinating because some people you'll know, household names virtually for us, and others will go, who's that? And that's the point. And what it will do is it'll open up new doors for people to go through and look and realise what is out there. And I hope that you obviously like everyone, but at the same time you're not going to, and that's okay too. And that is the point. But I'm delighted that Jared was here to explain to us the idea of organising and the idea that there is work to be done. And there's nothing better than being able to deliver and be able to make that contribution and at last realise that we are the ones that direct what we want in our lives, which is exactly what I think former Senator Rennick's message was all about. So with that, Joel, I think it's time. What do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. There's no videos that I'm forgetting about.
No, I think not.
There are?
No.
No, there's not. All right. The first award we're actually going to announce is the award for Outstanding Investigative Journalism.
Outstanding Investigative Journalism.
When I was in university,
We
Oh,
did that.
no, we did that.
a lot of things about American history that's sort of hidden from us.
Spoke to my attorney, Jeff Lippman, in fact.
James O'Keefe.
He said he's only seen it 10 times in the span of a 30-year career.
The case is over, so.
There was a very powerful organized anti-war
Ian Carroll.
and it was not this hippie fringe thing. It was a very powerful anti-Vietnam.
Not to the COVID virus. You are.
Tell us the prize.
All right, who is the winner to this? Who are we acknowledging for this
Thank you.
award?
All right, we have the envelope.
Woohoo!
The envelope lit.
We don't even know who won, so we're genuinely curious.
And the winner of our first award for the evening, Whitney Webb.
American history that's sort of hidden from us.
And she's that good.
Yeah, wow.
Was there a longer video to that?
She's
No,
That was okay. Well, there you go.
very good. The second award, and again, guys, I think it's important to acknowledge the people that are putting themselves out there, because God knows they're not going to appear in any, greatest establishment award, media award of the year. It's important that we acknowledge this. Number two, the second award is for the defender of free speech.
The biggest defender of free speech. Tucker
So it creates this great new coalition. New York Times writes almost nothing about it.
Here's the thing, they could use to further their agenda and make those people more popular than they would be organically.
Yeah.
Slightly varying, but agreeing.
Zen Freeman.
jobs to hold.
Hi, let's talk about this for years. I worked for to, I would say, the Zionist cause throughout my entire career.
You have to play the game, so it has to have very good video on it.
Elon Musk.
Actually, a good job for
Biggest defender of free speech. I'm not going to. Yes, I think he is. Or Tucker. Yes.
So the biggest defender of free speech, too, was some heavyweights there.
Yeah.
And the award goes to Tucker.
Wasn't it great when he came up to Australia and came up to Geelong, Australia to speak across the country? It was, who saw Tucker Carlson when he came here? God bless him. No, what did you ask him?
Well, so as it happened, it was part of the that event that brought Tucker around. And so there was a bunch of tables in Canberra, and there was 3 credentialed news people. So I think it was Sydney Morning Herald, The Age, there was the ABC, and there was the AP. And each of them threw questions at Tucker to try and capture or hit these questions. And he went bang, 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 and knocked them out.
Yes.
And sitting over here at this table here was the TNT radio table. Dean Mackin had a couple of Chardonnays, and many people will know Dean from 2HD and from other stations. And he said, "Tucker, how about a question from the Conservative media?" And Tucker's like, "Okay." And so I was sitting on this particular table, and I'm waiting for Dean to get up. He'd made the effort, and he just sat there. And then Alex, our tech presenter, goes, "Get up." And I'm like, "All right." And in that process, I got up and I asked him a question about the legitimacy of conspiracy theories and how they're treated in the media. We got a 7-minute answer. Wow. It was pretty impressive, right? And what I loved about it at the end was that someone came running over to me and said, "Barnaby Joyce wants to meet you." Which was pretty cool. I hadn't met Barnaby before, and I went over and spoke to Barnaby. And here's the thing, right? We had a quick chat, and I said, "Barnaby, you know it's not left versus right anymore. It's globalist versus nationalist. You're the National Party." And he looked at me like, what? And I found that fascinating because that's the moment when you just get to say something that people chime in with and they just take notice. So we've all got to do that. We've all got to be able to start conversations, come up with new ideas, and don't be afraid to say what you think. Now sometimes we all say crazy stuff and it gets shot down, but sometimes we don't. And in that moment, it was one of those beautiful little things, and I'll never forget it. It was like way punching above my weight, but there it was. There was that connection, and it's on YouTube. You can actually watch it.
Yeah.
There you go.
One of my favourite moments from Tucker was when, please, Tucker, he was interviewing Elon Musk. Elon had just taken over X, and he said, "You just cut 75% of the Twitter stuff. How are you still running?" And he's like, "Well, it turns out when you're not censoring speech, the company just runs fine. In fact, it's better." And I thought that was just a really telling moment in terms of it's just beautiful to see that, yep, X, it's taken over, it is the free speech space. People can get ideas out, whistleblowers can come out. And Tucker's done an amazing job with all of his interviews. Interviewing Putin, that takes guts. And
Absolutely. I've got to share one more story. Just
in case you can't tell,
about Tucker, right? So Tucker Carlson had just interviewed Victor Davis Hanson when he went independent. 41 million views. And my producer at TNT, who still works for me, got a phone call from Patrick that day. And Patrick said, "We want to get Victor into the studio. We fly him in, we put him up and all these things." I said, "Well, that's okay, I'll make a contact." And Victor goes, "I don't want to travel. I don't want to do it. I just want to stay home." And my very creative producer says, "Well, you don't have to go anywhere, and you can talk to Jason on TNT." And he said, "I'll do it." And so I got Victor Davis Hanson on the show. Wow. We did an hour together. And at the end of it, when I thanked him for the interview and just went over what he'd said, I got a Luna Park smile from Victor Davis Hanson that was a career maker.
That's hard.
So there you go. Very well. Thank you.
He doesn't do many interviews. He's very rare breed. He always does interviews with John Anderson, though.
Yes.
Former Deputy Prime Minister of Australia. Moving on. You can tell we're fangirling a little bit. Jason. Let's cut back. Award number 3. The award is for the most outspoken independent media influencer.
The most outspoken independent media influencer exposing the Middle East conflict.
Disaster.
Dan Bilzerian.
I talked about this about a year ago. I actually didn't even know.
I don't let fear guide what I'm going to do.
Andrew Tate.
I don't see anything wrong with feeling fearful. I don't see anything wrong with feeling stressed or under pressure.
Concept of what it means to be. And what's happening in Palestine? You've got
Basically that before the
Ian Carroll.
done by a bunch of Quakers, a bunch of black activists, a bunch of, like, my dad was one of them. And it was
brothers who again were motivated to go on the news and try and kvetch. Give me the closest rabbi.
Candace Owens.
I would say the Zionist cause throughout my entire career.
Jake Shields.
So I do think that we have
Syria.
community, but I don't think like the.
All right, the most outspoken independent media influencers exposing the Middle East conflict. The award. Do you have a name for these awards yet? The goodies? Dan Bilzerian.
I talked about this about a year ago. I actually didn't even know.
There you go. Yeah, because apparently he's a good gambler. That's what I know about him. I've seen a few interviews of him. He's an interesting guy.
How about that?
He's a lot shorter than, he's actually shorter than you. Just fun fact.
Talk.
Even you're taller than, he's got a lot of F you much. He's a smart guy. I've seen him take interviews. He's actually quite smart.
There you go. That's why I got the award.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
He's even shorter than me. Thanks, John.
Yeah. I'm going to stop reading out the award names. All right, let's pick the next video. Award number 4.
Most fearless outspoken journalist or influencer. Candace Owens.
I would say the Zionist cause throughout my entire career.
Listen, the Russians.
Colonel Douglas McGregor.
You know, there's no question about that. And as I said from the very beginning, Russia's cause in this war.
And so
One of them was Tom Malone on X. I call him.
Ben Fordham. Maria
outspoken journalist, influencer.
I want to see the odds of the sports track.
Fantastic.
Candace Owens.
Hey, there you go. You know, a fun fact about Candace, when we did our how to vote cards for the last election, they ended up backing Senator Rennick, as we were back Senator Rennick on our how to vote cards. There's a little circle at the top left, which is a little green circle, where the electoral commissioner usually signs it. We put Candace Owens' signature there because we're currently in the High Court challenging the right of the government to revoke her visa. Because they do it for no reason, they do it for political reasons. So we thought, well, you know what? Every one of these 200,000 how to vote cards we're doing for the election, it's got Candace's visa on it. Yeah, it's got Candace's signature on it. So we actually do that every election. You know, fun fact, we did it for John Larder as well. So in the New South Wales election, we had John Larder, who spoke earlier today, his signature for the state election. But anyway, we had fun. We had fun. That's very important. The next award, who said that? John Larder. Yeah. John's like, oh, that's news to me. Then you recognise your own signature. So we can play the next video. It's award number 5.
Excellence in political analysis and commentary.
Hello and welcome.
Jason Olborn.
Here in Australia.
Police officers as well as a wide range.
Elijah Schaffer.
This is becoming a very common appearance down here as the LAPD appears for 2025.
Lily Gaddis.
To his special interests and donors. Now, before we dive into
I agree.
They want to be part of that.
Scott Ritter.
They're tired of the isolation. You know, I mean,
Excellence.
Now, before we read this one out, I just want to make a reference that when Jack Palance of the Academy Awards read out the Academy Award for Supporting Actress, the claim was that Marissa Tomei didn't win it, he made it up and had to give the award. So given that our names are in the nominees, can I ask Steve Kirsch, would you mind reading this one for us?
That's a good call. That's a good call. Let's put your hands together for Steve Kirsch. Can we hold hands together?
The winner is Elijah Schaefer.
Elijah's such a great guy. So for those of you that didn't hear earlier today, Elijah was one of the American speakers that was set to come up here. And he's married a Queensland girl. He's got 2 Aussie kids. He lived in Queensland around the corner for a year. He leaves for a year, he goes to the US, he starts his own network, Rift Network. He tries to come back for this conference to talk to you lovely people. And he can't get in the country. His ETA got cancelled while he was on his way here. They're literally separating families. So Elijah, he does phenomenal work. I really love the guy. Every time we catch up, we have a great time. We
Fantastic.
trade a lot of notes. He's a really good bloke. I wish he was here to have accepted himself, but unfortunately he couldn't be there thanks to Mr. Albanese.
Well deserved. But can I just say, to be acknowledged, like, it's a big deal, right? You don't expect awards, you don't expect nominations, any of those acknowledgements, but just to be here so far, standing on stage with John, watching colleagues like Cossack and Lily and Michael, it's a big deal, and I really appreciate the acknowledgement.
Being mentioned in the sentence of people like yourself and the others, it's quite humbling to me because I was like, I'm just a 28-year-old. We won't go into my story. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
There you go.
But let's move on. Award number 6.
Best Independent Media Documentary. Occupied by Stu Peters. Get to this point. The Fall of the Cabal. Fall by Janet Oswald.
Further down the rabbit hole? Wow.
100 years ago.
Plandemic by Nikki Willis.
Somewhere on the order of 50 to 100 million deaths. When we talk about
The Truth Inside Veritas by James O'Keefe.
events, I didn't want to know. Since 2000.
The Trust Fall by Julian Assange.
He has been betrayed.
It's a big deal. It's a lot of work. Well, the best documentary, if you will, just as stupid as Occupy.
So, Stu Peters couldn't be here. He's another one of the speakers that couldn't make it out, thanks to Mr. Albanese's immigration lawyer, Tony Burke. But he sent us a video, which we're going to, an acceptance speech. He didn't know this was going to happen, but he sent the video. Let's play the video. Let's hear from Stu Peters himself, the man himself. Which is a real shame. It would have been really good for him to join us here. But, yes, he's sorry.
Thank you. When I was told that Occupy was being nominated for Film of the Year, I mean, just, wow. Thank you very much. All glory to God, though, the world is noticing, right? All glory to God, the world is finally waking up. The world is figuring it out, that seats of government, not just in Washington, D.C., but seats of government all over the map are occupied. And they're seeing that they're occupied by a genocidal, hyper-perverted, mass-murdering regime of pedophiles that traffics and slaughters and sacrifices kids. An illegitimate construct, an arbitrary apparatus that murders civilians, rapes women, steals houses, steals land, has plans laid out to expand all over the Middle East and into Eastern Europe, adjoining Greater Israel with New Khazaria and establishing a Talmudic empire from hell. And this film, Occupy, directed by Sean Hibbler, it blew the whistle on these people. It blew the whistle. It shined a big, bright light on their twisted agenda. And Occupy really provided just a gateway, an entry into the Jewish question, into the truth about these strange, subversive, usurious little demons. They have just gobbled up so much influence. They have gobbled up so much control over those in power all over the world. And right now, these Jews, these very same Jews who slaughter babies in Gaza, as I'm accepting an award, these Jews are dropping bombs on Lebanon, clamoring for war with Iran, for white Christian blood to spill all over the Middle East, and for white Christian taxpayers to cut the check that pays for it. They're not just waging a war on Muslims. They're waging a war on Christians. They're waging a war on the lifeblood of Western civilization. They're waging a war on humanity. And when you watch this film, just take a look at what these demons have done. When you view Occupy, just take a look. Just take note of the death and the destruction and the pain and suffering that they have wrought, and you can take account. You could take note. You could realize that they'll stop at nothing to sacrifice their red heifers, play in their ashes, usher in the Antichrist that sits on the throne of their demonic third temple. These people want to enslave you. They want to rape your kids. They want to subjugate you. They want to murder you. And Occupy exposed just how far they're willing to go. It exposed just how far the owned and operated Occupy, bought and paid for, treasonous Shabbos goys pretending to run our countries and running our societies are willing to let these demons go. But it truly, really is an honor for Occupy to be named Film of the Year. It is. But this isn't the end. This is only the beginning. You need to show Occupy to everyone that you know. We have to expose the truth about the Talmudic supremacist Jews. The greatest threat to peace, the greatest and continued threat to the existence of human life. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Steve's always bringing the energy, isn't he? He goes hard. America's a different country, man. Let's move on to award number 7.
Yes.
This is by history.
Rising Star in Independent Media.
5.
Lily Gaddis.
Completely beholden to his special interests and donors. Now, before we
So people want to know where are the files.
Kim
Iverson, what is the actual goal of this operation? How deep does this blackmail go? This is not just something that's about the victims and, oh, they should have their justice.
There are people who pretend that Australia's housing crisis is some unsolvable mystery. Well, it's not. The solution is quite obvious. It's just politically inconvenient.
Basically, that before
Ian Carroll.
Led by a bunch of Quakers, a bunch of black activists, a bunch of, like, my dad was one of them. And it was...
Alright, who's the winner?
The award goes to Lily Gaddis.
Hey. So we've actually got a video from Lily, because another one, they couldn't get her visa to get into the country. God bless her. We've got this acceptance speech from Lily.
This is an incredible honor. I'm really happy to be in such good company, let's say. This award means a lot to me. You know, who would have thought that making a TikTok video that kind of went very viral, it got me in a lot of trouble, would have resulted, you know, in giving me this platform and allowing me to exercise my free speech and fighting for you guys to have the right to fight for your free speech and enable and encourage other people to start platforms and just speaking out on their, you know, on their end, no matter how you're doing it, whether you're doing it on a podcast, whether you're doing it in your personal life. This is what we need to keep doing. We need more of this. We need more people speaking out fearlessly. We need more people fighting for the cause of free speech, which is why I'm so happy to be a part of this summit. Even though I'm doing it virtually, I wish I could have been there. I was supposed to have been there, but you know, we are all facing a lot of censorship these days. But you know what? That's kind of a sign that we're winning. It's a sign of the times, but it's also a sign that we are winning. The fact that there's this great awakening happening right now, and so many people are agreeing with each other, and people are kind of bridging the divides of party lines, and they're coming together with this end goal of we want to preserve our countries, we want to preserve our liberties, and we want to preserve our freedoms of speech. So this is why events like this Free Speech Summit is so good. It's really great to recognize people who are out there fighting on the front lines, because it not only encourages them to keep going, but it also encourages more people to start speaking out as well. And this is what we need in these times. We need everybody using their voices, using their resources, because this is how we preserve our country and preserve our freedoms of speech. So again, thank you so much to the Australian National Review. Thank you to everybody, the whole team, Jamie McIntyre, his whole team that's been working so hard despite all the pushback that they've received from governments and politicians and lobbying groups and all of these groups that are working overtime to take away our freedoms. So events like this is great. Every one of you are important. Every one of your voices are important, because when a collective body of people come together and they agree that we want our liberties, we want to be able to speak freely without fearing censorship or fearing pushback or being jailed or whatever happens. This is what they fear, you know, and this is why they target events like this. So again, I'm so happy to have received this award. It means a lot to me. can sometimes feel like everybody's out to get you, the whole world is trying to censor you, but then you have to remember, oh yeah, there's a lot of people out there that agree, there's a lot of sane people out there, and we are kind of the silent majority, but that's been the problem. We need to be the loud majority, because the loud voices win, and that's what we're trying to do with this summit. That's what Jamie McIntyre has been doing, that's what the whole Australian National Review has been doing, despite, again, all the pushback they've received. So thank you to everybody who participated. I'm so glad you guys are all here. I hope you have a fun time. And again, thank you so much.
It's really good, when the Americans, they don't believe us when we say how bad it is in Australia with some things until they put a visa application in. So and then the government throws back at them a whole bunch of statements they've made over the years, and they're like, yeah, that's a bannable offence. You can't come to our country because of that. It's wild. They don't understand that until that happens. And so I was texting Lily, I was texting Elijah, and now they understand. And they're like, and we're like, we could really use some help. We could really use some help in Australia. And they are helping us. They are great people. This isn't the end of it. We hope to have them back very soon. It's not the end of it. And that's partly why, me and Turnpoint, we're trying to fight that High Court case with Candace Owens to get a bit of a precedent for us in the High Court. We're moving on. Let's move to award number 8.
Excellence in Alternative Health Reporting. Pete Evans.
Contract ran out for healthcare exclusivity.
Professor
Suffering from swine flu, even on ECMO. Growing up, we never went.
Dr. Ben Tapper.
Category, isn't it? Come on, Barbara. Let's go, Barbara. I'm interviewing her next Friday. I'm like, come on, Barbara, let's do this. Professor Ian Brighton. I like Ian. I hope so. I saw him on the schedule. Ian's a great guy. That was a fantastic character. Yeah. Well,
let's keep going. Award number 9.
Best research against the COVID fraud.
Yes.
Dr.
I literally at times saw
traditionally were the big as soon as President Trump started complaining about the power of the intelligence.
Well, good day everyone, John Well, I've just been informed that the pilot
He told me he lost it. COVID virus.
Considering
Doctor. Roland Crystal.
Rears its head, and the winner for best research against COVID fraud goes to Steve Kirsch. We'll keep it safe for you. Make sure Jason doesn't touch it.
So it's really an honor. You know, there's so much competition for this award, and really there's so much material that's out there that's been made available to all of us to expose this, and I know all of the nominees here, and they're my friends, and so I'm honored to accept on behalf of all of them, because it's really all of us working together. And I want to thank Jamie and the Australian National Review for putting on this event, and I'm fortunate to be able to actually get into the country.
He's the only one. He's the only one.
The only one.
You got a flag.
So there you go. I mean, it's really amazing. It's been eye-opening for me to see what happened, and you know, for me it was like I totally believed in what I was being told, and then COVID came around, and that was the eye-opening moment for me and for a lot of my friends when they saw what happened. So it's humbling to be able to make a difference, and there's so few of us, and that's the real tragedy, is that there should be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are speaking out, and yet people are afraid to do that. I was fortunate to be in a position where I didn't have to have a job, and I could quit my job, and I thought about, I had a decision point, because it was you either give this up, or we're going to have to fire you from the company that I started. And I thought for overnight, I slept on it, and I told my wife that I was quitting my job to be able to do this full time, because it's the same reason really when Bobby Kennedy, I asked him if he had any regrets as to, you know, he had this marvelous career and he gave it all up. He was an environmental lawyer, and then he gave it all up, and he was championing autism, that vaccines were causing autism, and he became this anti-vaxxer. And I asked him if he had any regrets in his decision, and he said, I had no choice. And I really felt the same way when I was confronted with this decision as to whether you continue your job and keep your job and have create a livelihood for your family, or do you quit your job and do the right thing. And for me, it was not a hard choice. You know, you can't, once you see this, you can't turn your back on it. And I was fortunate to be in a position where I could do that, leave my job and do this full time. And I haven't regretted a moment. Thank you.
Wow. Company founded, tried to kick him out, not getting the jab. It's insane. And again, many honourable mentions there. Ed Dowd, you've obviously got Professor Robert Malone, the list goes on, but Steve, congratulations. Well done. We're now going to move to, and again, media, take note, this isn't a white nationalist rally. You've got one of your MCs that are standing in, Middle Eastern guy, and here is the most outspoken Jewish commentator. Here we go.
The most outspoken Jewish commentator.
Nothing if not obsession.
Jeffrey Sachs.
And we see trying to get stuff on this day, this week. He's a deep, dark son of a bitch, sorry to tell you. Because he's gotten us into endless wars, and because of the power of
Trump hasn't invited Netanyahu.
Benjamin Rubenstein.
Trump has some interesting comments in the past. For example, when he survived his initial assassination attempt, you know, with the bloody ear and all. Mohammed Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, sent Trump his, solidarity.
And why is it, by the way, that this is always a one-way street? I hear all the hawks constantly being like, Iran said this, Iran threatened this. What about the threats being the other direction? Maybe Iran feels like they don't have a choice to make. So look, Muammar Gaddafi, Iran is on the list of 7 countries that are supposed to be overthrown.
Right, where's SBS? Where's the SBS cameras? We're about to announce the top Jewish commentator. Where'd they go? They went home! They're not here! Because it doesn't fit the narrative. Who won this award?
Jeffrey Sachs.
Jeffrey Sachs.
Jeffrey Sachs.
Oh, right.
This one. He's a deep, dark.
That's my SBS. Love Jeffrey Sachs. His interviews with Tucker Carlson and all that were very good. He's a historian. Is that his trade?
I can't tell you what he is, but he's brilliant.
He talks as if he's a historian. His attention to details must be good. Well, let's keep the show moving.
Yes.
We're now going to move to award number 11.
Female independent media journalist or influencer of the year. Laura Aboli.
Superannuation. Are investing people's funds into BTRs because it's a booming industry. So I do think that the
Syrian girl.
community, but I don't think like the 4 or 5.
Lily Gaddis.
To his special interests and donors. Now, before we dive into hundreds of African migrant
Ava Flanagan.
Yet another church was burned down to the ground.
So people want to know where are the files.
Kim Iverson.
What is the actual goal of this operation? How deep does this blackmail go? This is not just something that's about the victims and, they should have their justice.
Love Kim's intro. Where are the files? Oh, what on earth? You can't handle the truth.
And the award goes to Syrian girl.
Excellent, excellent. Congratulations, Syrian girl. Congratulations. Yes, I did. I know. I figured, Middle Eastern, you probably got your head screwed on right. You understand genders.
I am female.
Yes, absolutely. Now, do you mind saying a few words?
Guys, I'm really, really honored. I had no idea. And yes, you assumed correctly, I am female. Please come tomorrow. I will be speaking tomorrow. I can't believe I won the female award and not the Middle East. But I think that I was in amongst amazing people, including Kim Iverson. So again, that leaves me in more disbelief. But I think it's really hard over the last 14 years of doing social media and feeling like you're a lone voice, and now I feel like I found my people. So happy to be in the room with you all. So thank you so much, and I'm honored.
Thank you so much. We don't, us Middle Easterners is a bit weird, do we do 2 kisses, 3 kisses, I don't know. Yeah. It's she understands. The Italians get it too. Anyways, congratulations, Mary. Moving on, we've got award number 12.
The Most Outspoken Politician Award. Ross Cameron. Malcolm Roberts.
Otherwise, Senator Randy.
Tensions were escalating, and the Democrats
Thomas Massey.
You can't go, basically like my bill this time, say you can't go to war without a bill.
Ralph.
County, Pennsylvania. Black Saxon would have popped up again. He did pop up again to continue.
George Christensen.
Increased mortality rates.
Heavyweights there.
There are.
Senator Malcolm Roberts.
One of my favourite moments meeting Senator Roberts. We were in the Parliament. We were in the Parliament, and we hadn't met before. I'd interviewed him about 3 times, and we had Nigel Farage in Parliament, and Nigel was doing a talk with Alex Antic, and Malcolm had to rush out. He had to go get to a hearing, a Senate hearing or something. And so I stood up, to shake his hand. Young men out there, you never shake your hand sitting down. I stood up, shake his hand, and he recalled this moment. He said, "John just kept getting taller." Because all the videos I'd filmed up until that point, it was a camera like that facing down, my iPhone.
Yes.
And he said, "Joel, you're huge." Malcolm's like this tall, but he makes up for it in courage. And it's a bit like rugby, you know. It's the small players in rugby that know how to tackle the best, the best technique. And so Malcolm Roberts has been one of the most fearless fighters in the last 6 to 9 years. And it's great to see he's got another 6 years in the Senate. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he achieves over the next few years as well. We're now going to move to award number 13.
Pioneers of Independent Media. Alex Jones.
Puts up this video of those right next to the same retreat trumpet.
And their very nature.
David.
Because anyone that wants to impose their
Zev Freeman. Jamie McIntyre.
A Zoom event.
Ideas of independent media.
And the award goes to Alex Jones.
Puts up this video of those right next to the same retreat trumpet.
Mate, I gotta say it. My favourite line from Alex Jones. They're sending the France game. He was right. He was right. They were sending the France game. The corporations. Look at behind that. When I first heard that, I thought the guy's crazy. And he was right. They kept it from the organisations, the factories that were turning the frogs game. They could have reproductive eggs. It was insane. Never bash Alex Jones. He's got a big jar out there. I was right jar, and he was right on that.
And Tucker Carlson makes a good point, the most fascinating person that he knows.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, we are 10% through the awards for the night. I stole that one from Billy Roland Crystal over there, but no, we're halfway through, so we're going to keep going.
We're going to keep firing through. The next one we've got award number 14.
Biggest freedom movement protest organizer. Trixie. Christian Mack.
All you're doing is poisoning my entire name.
Thanks, bud.
Right,
Give it to Joe.
Christian Mack.
Hey, there you go. Christian Mack. He's such a great guy. As I mentioned earlier, he was the third person I interviewed for Turning Point Australia. Graham Hood, John Larder, Christian Mack for the teachers. He was the
Phenomenal man. I really, a work ethic like you wouldn't believe. Went through his own hell along the way and just kept backing up and always had time when he wanted to reach out. Just one of those great people. So that's a well-deserved reward.
He always retweets me. I appreciate it. He's my first like on every tweet.
Oh, really?
You always appreciate the first like. No one wants to be the first like. That's Christian Mack. I appreciate the support. I need it. We're now going to move to award number 15.
Top independent media activists exposing the climate change agenda. Alex Newman.
Number 46 was refusal to cooperate.
Peter Clack.
This whole climate change.
Professor Ian Feynman.
It's never been shown that human emissions drive global warming.
Craig Kelly.
And make it impossible for anyone to manufacture
Exposing the climate change agenda, it can only go, when you think about it, to Professor Ian Feynman.
My favourite comment from Ian Feynman, because he's an older gentleman, right? Like, he's quite the statesman. I did not expect him to say this one time. He was doing a climate conference, I think it was near Aldwyn. Got some lovely people who drove from Aldwyn here, by the way. And he said, to you truck drivers, to you farmers, stop sending your fruit to the cities. And I thought, well, that's a little bit radical. But he said, well, if they're not listening to you, if they're not listening to you in the cities, these voters that outvote you, stop sending your food to the cities so that they start appreciating the fact that we feed you. I thought I was radical. When I heard that, I was like, okay, all right, I'll sit down. Ian Feynman is very much the go-to person in Australia on this issue. The man absolutely deserves it. My honourable mentions to all of those others over there.
I interviewed Ian once, and it was in the afternoon. And I saw him on that morning on Sky. I thought, oh, he's on Sky already, on the same day. And I was interviewing, and they said, look, he's going to be at Broken Hill, and he's home. And I saw him in the morning, and I thought maybe he's in the city, but no, there he was at Broken Hill. I said, geez, you made me tired. He said, 6 hours straight line. And he got there ready for the interview. And we had a great chat, and we talked about 432 parts per million CO2 trace gas, and explained it to me like no one ever explained it. And in the break, I explained that my son was going to trade college. And he said that is the best thing he could do. I would tell my own kids not to go to university anymore. That's how far he said the system was broken. So that's a big deal. Yeah.
We're now going to move on to award number 16.
The deplatformed but unstoppable Aussie Popularity.
Listen, I like Steve
Alex Jones.
He puts up this video, of course, right next to the same from
Hi guys, sorry.
Jamie McIntyre.
I just wanted to quickly chat to you about a Zoom event I can run, who again were murdered.
Stu Peters.
To go on the news and cry and kvetch. Get me the closest rabbi. Put some respect on my name. And I hit the nail on my head at the end. I kind of went off. And I find my name.
There's no background.
It's not easy being the platform. Whoever wins this, they all deserve.
They certainly do. So, the award goes to, well, how about this? We've got a dead hoot. Jamie McIntyre and Data Needs.
Yeah, wow, new platform. Who's been censored? We've all been censored. But the reality is that I had 3 Instagram accounts disappear. Yeah. It's incredible. When they are afraid of what you have to say, they cut your tongue out. And that's how they do it in the modern world. They cut you out on social media. My Facebook account during COVID got 13 consecutive 30-day bans just for sharing the truth about what was going on. But somehow my Facebook's getting a bit of a run at the moment. But my X account, because James was like, get on X, it's all happening on X. X account started to grow to a few thousand, and then he got wiped as well. So it's very high level stuff. And censorship is real. It's incredibly frustrating because, if you have people who want to hear from you, and then you disappear, but you can't tell them, it's incredibly frustrating. But if I had a message for everyone, I'm without being too self-deprecating, I'm just a very ordinary Aussie bloke. I love my country, but I believe silence is consent. And if we don't consent to what is going on, we need to make some noise and we need to speak up about it. And that's all I've ever done right from the start. I could smell the bullshit a long while away when I saw COVID roll out. And I thought there would have been a lot more voices speaking up, but there wasn't. And, they say life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you believe in life, then speak up. Thank you, folks. Love you guys.
All right. We're now going to move on to award number 17.
Most honorable and dedicated Australian politician. Senator
Really appreciate it.
Senator Antic.
It's become clear that
Senator Malcolm Roberts.
it is also clear that it has been coordinated globally.
Ralph Godet.
Inappropriate. They threw out.
In the House of Representatives and the Senate. And the
Clive Palmer.
The Trump administration, which we trust will be effective in bringing the United States back.
Ideas and we all like, hey,
Jared Reddick.
He's already campaigning. He's already out there. That's how he. That's why he won it, because he's out there and he's working. He's already on the road. Apologies, Gerard. He's not here. He had to commence the long drive back home. It's at least a couple hours.
Well, back home. There you go. Look, we were lucky enough to have Jared in the room, and he explained pretty much the reason why he won the award.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he did the acceptance speech in advance, and I was really impressed by the lady in the front who's clearly had $500 in sports bet on Jared Reddick. Well, we would all like to have had $500 in Jared Reddick. He was what we call in the business a special. He's a brilliant, brilliant politician.
He's going to text me right now. It's like, I'm turning back. I'm coming back. We didn't know. We had no idea. God bless you, Gerard. Thank you so much. So we're now going to move to award number 18.
Most popular free speech platform. Parler.
I've got to have Elon Musk smoking a joint. I'm just going to say, they're going to bring up big bit from the generator.
X.
I'll rerun the full.
Truthbook.social. Truth Social.
Right. I think I made my win.
What was on Facebook and YouTube?
I didn't make the nomination. We got cancelled off the stream.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Can you believe it? Isn't it funny that when you dedicate that, you put all that work into it, and you see a lifetime worth of work? 17 years go up in smoke. Well, you knew it was X. There you go. All right, we will move on to...
Elon's not here.
Elon's not here. He said his apologies, but $44 billion, you know, is a fair chunk of cash to be able to establish a social media platform that did change the way it was, because before that, we were in a lot of trouble. We were really in a lot of trouble, and then that did change the power.
I take a look. I'm not fully on board with everything Elon's doing, but that I can get on board with. Absolutely. We need free speech, otherwise we can't fight for anything. We're now going to move to award number 19.
Best Alternative News Network. RT News. Al Jazeera. Hindustan Times. Rift TV.
That's the largest outfit.
Redacted.
Alright. SBS wasn't on there, I don't think.
And the award goes to Redacted.
I just love being taken out of context by SBS, you know?
This is it, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw the debate, it isn't happy chat.
No.
They cut a whole hour out of the whole thing.
What was the
2-hour debate, they cut it out.
So it was the Kamala Harris group.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. So you can't sue?
Yeah. Now that's it.
You can't do anything.
We keep alluding to them because
Yes, there you go. Well, we'll keep playing them with the alternative. Yeah. How about that? All right, what are we up to?
we're almost there. We've now got award number 20.
Best Podcast.
could
Joe Rogan.
that they also use to further their agenda and make those people more popular than they would be organically.
Yeah.
You know, around the time I was in
Whitney Webb.
A lot of things about American history that's sort of hidden from us.
Basically that before
Ian Carroll.
there was a very powerful organized anti-war movement led by a bunch of Quakers, a bunch of black activists, a bunch of, like my dad was one of them. And it was
And the award for best podcast.
You have a participation award?
Joe Rogan.
There you go. I saw the Carol clip, and I thought there's no way Ian can win it
more popular.
when the clip of him is him or Joe Rogan. Like, it's just not going to happen.
That's right, Joe Rogan. All right.
Let's move to Award 21. We're going to have a few left.
The Julian Assange Locked in an Embassy Award. Aussie Cossack.
There's the Cossack Award. Well,
Good guy.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, well, here you go. Have to send it to the lookout. All right, what do we got next?
Oh, we miss you guys. We miss you, Cossack. Sorry.
22.
We're going to get him out of there. All right, moving on. We've got award number 22.
Independent Media Legend Award. Julian Assange.
Left versus right, Democrat versus right.
Tucker Carlson.
So he creates this brand new coalition. New York Times writes almost nothing about it.
Candace Owens.
Here's the thing. They could
Joe Rogan.
And make those people more popular than they would be organically.
Yeah.
And put a lot
And the Independent Media Legend Award, Julian Assange.
Love Julian. Love his father. Really lovely guy.
Yes.
Beautiful man.
You know what else I love is Kim Staten's movie, The Trust Fund, about Julian Assange. And Kim and his partner worked tirelessly, and they did the best promotional tour. They worked so hard, and it was absolutely worth everything. Has everyone seen The Trust Fund? Yeah, just brilliant. And the irony, of course, is that all that work, and then Julian finally gets out, and as he said, he had to plead guilty to journalism to get his freedom, but at least to get back to his wife and to his boys, and there is a price there. But the main thing is that those two little boys get their father, and that's the most important.
Absolutely. For that, award number 23.
Stood Up for Australia Award. Dave Cummings.
37 years old. So it's not bad. It's not a bad run.
Adrian McRae.
I would be heavily persecuted for back in Australia.
Our guy, Senator Rain.
Senator Joe.
Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it.
Jamie McIntyre.
I just wanted to chat to you about a Zoom event on.
It's become clear
Senator Malcolm Roberts.
it is also clear that it has been coordinated globally.
here.
Oh, this is a little bit of a surprise. I certainly don't feel I stack up to the wonderful competitors in that particular category, Dave and Jamie, who's not here, and who else was on that nominated? Anyway, Jared, I'm glad that I think they've each got one already, so you've got to give one to everyone. It's one of those. Anyway, look, it's completely humbled to even be considered for such a thing. I was going to say earlier, and I think I didn't get time. I probably spoke too much on COVID topics, but yesterday on my way here, I took an extra flight, took 4 flights to get here, but I stopped into Canberra on the way to catch up with David McBride in prison. And I try and, whenever I'm over this side of the country, I try and walk in. It's a bit of a process to get in to see him, and he asked me to remember him and make sure that you guys knew that he was here with you. He was really stoked about this event and thought it was a great thing. And look, if I could, dedicate this to someone, it would probably be to David. He's those of you who don't know David, a military army major in the Australian and UK armies for many years, a couple of decades. And he spoke up about things that were going on in the Middle East with both the Australian and the US Army, and he saw war crimes that none of us ever wanted to think about our military, because we hold our military in very high esteem. My group of companies in Western Australia, I have them named after, it's called GBTK, it's named after Gallipoli, Beersheba, Tobruk and Kokoda. And I have a lot of pride in standing up for Australia, particularly in this award. It means a hell of a lot to me. But we like to put our diggers on really high pedestals, and when you hear of things that David had seen, particularly in Afghanistan, which really rocked the boat of my perception, I guess, the national psyche around the military heroism that we knew of the Anzacs of years past. And David passed the message up the chain, trying to get these horrific things that certain bad eggs had done in our military, that fell on deaf ears. So eventually he tried everything he could, and he went to the media with it. And David, for those of you who don't know, there were investigations that went into this, into his reports. The ABC television studios who released the story were raided by the federal police, and eventually there was 19 guilty verdicts of we'll call them bad eggs. I don't want to call them Australian soldiers, but there were 19 bad eggs that had committed some pretty horrific crimes, war crimes in Afghanistan. And the only person who was ever jailed for these horrific crimes was the man who blew the whistle on it. And seeing him yesterday, he was still in great spirits, and to see how he's really stood up for Australia, stood up for the truth, and stood up for decency and integrity. I think he's a great role model of mine, and I think we all need to aspire to do what we can. We spoke yesterday to him about this, because Julian Assange is a household name all around the world, not just in Australia. But so many people here have not heard of David McBride's name, and we really need to do all we can in each of our own lives to make sure that David is remembered, and we don't forget about David, because he's just not in the common vernacular in the Australian psyche. So, look, if I could, as I said before, if I could dedicate this to one person, be to David. I think he's a great Australian, and if anyone really stood up for Australian values, it's that guy. So.
Thank you, Adrian. The idea that we don't protect whistleblowers is insane. After all, we are the taxpayers. The government's meant to answer to us. It's not meant to go after whistleblowers in that way. They've done this to many whistleblowers in the West. And so, really honourable for all of you, Adrian. Thank you. The next one is Award 24. It's the third last one. Most outspoken athlete.
The most outspoken athlete. Kelly Slater.
They have now either had themselves or someone else affected by the vaccine. A number of people I know, I've talked about this before, so I have another number of people I know
Last year,
Andrew Bogut.
about 3 or 4 months into the campaign, I got a message from somebody. I'm not going to name who it was or where it came.
The freedom to
Novak
I have not spoken about this before, and I have not disclosed my medical.
Come on, So in the last federal election, you know, I mentioned the signature thing before with the How to Vote card. So we had Candace, we had John Lada, and in the 2022 election it was Novak. Because it was a Liberal government. It was Alex Hawke.
Yes.
Who was the one that was the health minister, the Minister for Immigration.
Yes.
And denied his visa to go compete.
And
Robbed him.
And based on the fact that it may cause vaccine hesitancy, after all they've done, Novak was going to outdo the entire government. He was called Novak, of course. and what did he do? He wins the tournament as only a champion can do. And you know what? It renewed my faith in sportsmen and tennis and the whole thing. And there is nothing quite like a champion in the peak of their powers. And like Adrian acknowledged, that David McBride is another champion. And that man coming from that stock, his father was William McBride. William McBride exposed the Lil Mike. Imagine coming from that family, right? And to be that dedicated, and things propelled William the same way. And so these are important Australian people going through absolute adversity and fighting for absolute truth. These are the heroes. The Julian Assanges of the world. We need more of them, but they don't need to suffer the way that these men have.
Novak's great Australia. Serbia, we can't rob Serbia of one of its few achievements. Sorry, Serbia.
We'll adopt him. A bit like Farlap and Neil Fitt.
Sorry, I love you, Serbia. I want to see the country. Moving on. The second last one, award number 25.
Best Australian independent media journalist or influencer.
So I do think that the
Syrian girl.
But I don't think like the
Don Kelly.
Well, g'day everyone. John. Well, I've just been informed that the pilot and they get to her and they don't. Screenplay.
Hello and welcome.
Jason
here in Australia. I'm going to stay here with you.
Maria
into BTRs because it's a booming industry.
Endless, and I agree that.
You know what we might do is, I'm just thinking over there, Roland Crystal, would you do the others? Very good.
Put your hands together for Roland Crystal. It looks like you're about to burn poker on stage. All right, Roland, what do you do?
Johnny Lara!
Well, look, everyone, this isn't an award for me, this is an award for everyone here tonight. It really is about the people that are vaccine injured, it's about the people that lost their jobs, it's about the people who were coerced into taking a vaccine. As Hoodie said, they took a bullet for their families. It's been an horrendous 5 years. And I'm just so grateful to accept this on behalf of everyone that was nominated in this category, because each and every one of you have done things that were beyond human. You've put yourself out there, you've absolutely peddled this country and this nation, not only in miles, like people like Michael Greg Griffith. I mean, he has been everywhere. I mean, he's done more. He's done more miles than Young. And Joel and Jason, you know, they are at the cutting edge of current day media. I mean, they are really the benchmark. So for an amateur like me to get this for basically just calling out bullshit is a great honour, and I'm really so privileged that, you know, I think we should all share this. Yes. This is a shared award. So thank you so much, and God bless you all.
John, you got to say the line, mate.
You just couldn't make this stuff.
Thank you, John. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your patience. And now for the final award, Best Comedian.
Best Comedian Speaking Out. Bassem Youssef.
And why is it, by the way?
Dave Smith.
It's always a one-way street. You know, all the hawks constantly being like, a ram said this, a ram threatened this. What about the threats being...
I understand that.
George Carlin.
Dumber than a second coat of paint.
Russell Brand.
Of illegal migrant labour, probably because of vast, potent...
Well, we have arrived, the last award of the night. Best Comedian Speaking Out award, Bassem Youssef.
I guarantee you would have seen this guy. Who was he on with? He was on with Piers Morgan. Once, twice, maybe thrice. And it is truly the right award for him. Because he had a way, he's Egyptian, he had a way of actually articulating the arguments in a comedic way, but it also informed people and gave them value. I really like that guy. I think it's not just because he's Middle Eastern. Watch his clips. If you check him out, it's easy watching, it's informative, it's funny.
I wish it was under different circumstances.
There you go.
First of all, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. They have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the how they're doing, but you know, we're used to that. I mean, it's just like it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians. They're very dramatic. Israel killing us, but they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill. Very difficult people to kill. I know because I'm married to one.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I understand why.
No, it's not dark humor. I mean, I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields.
Yeah, I understand what you're doing. I didn't see this about this.
I will be serious. Yeah, I will be serious. I was watching your interview with Ben Shapiro, and I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the smartest people who ever walked this earth. He's very, very smart. I follow him, and I believe everything he said. And when he came on your show, his solution was, and I quote, his solution was that the solution for this is for Israel to annex Gaza and to kill as many sons of bitches as possible to make sure that this will never happen again. And anyone who called for a ceasefire will be a terrorist sympathizer. So God forbid, I don't want to be labeled as a terrorist sympathizer. So I agree with Ben Shapiro. I think we should kill as many sons of bitches as possible. So far, 3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 sons of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist hospital as we speak right now. 1/3 of those 3,500 were children. So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more sons of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy?
Okay. See, it's okay for you to laugh. You're in the dark audience. We're on stage. Comedy is the way to get the message out there. He's done a phenomenal job. Watch the full things. There's 1, 2, maybe 3 of those interviews. You'll love Bassett Yusuf, as you saw. I don't know where. That's awesome.
What a way to finish tonight. And look, 26 awards, something that's a brand new concept in independent media. Congratulations to all the people that won the awards, especially to the ones that were here, were able to speak. It was wonderful to just listen to Adrian and to Syrian Girl and to John, and to explain just what it means to people and to be acknowledged, even when we might not take ourselves too seriously, but we're fighting for something that is very, very important and extremely undervalued. And so I'm delighted to be asked to stand up here with Joel and these beautiful ladies to hand out these awards for all of you people here tonight. Thank you so much for coming. Please enjoy the bar or whatever you're going to do afterwards. We'll see you back tomorrow for 9 o'clock.
And it's a wrap on the 2025 Independent Media Gala Awards at the Mermaid Waters Hotel on the Gold Coast. Congratulations to all the winners and to everyone actually up on the screen. I recommend go and check them all out, Google them all, see what you can find, or use another search engine and you might find some other information. That was amazing. Okay, photos over near the banner. Yeah, you know, having been in the media myself for 41 years now, worked in mainstream media for 20 years, and I saw firsthand behind the scenes the propaganda and the lies and how, you know, major stories syndicated right across all the news yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, you know, syndicated across the news, and that's why I got out, right? I've had my own media business now for 20 years and very happy to also be speaking my truth. We have Total Truth Show. We're just about to come up to 111 episodes of Total Truth Show, which I do with a guy from America called Ken Kleinberg. Also Media Queen TV, I've been doing for 10 years. Media Mavens Show with Kirsten Linartz from Germany. You know, doing my bit to help get the word out about things. And my main Facebook account just got shut down on June 2. 20,000 connections I had on that Facebook account. And I'm not sure whether I'll get it back. I've had another Facebook account shut down before. I had an Instagram account shut down, which I did end up getting back. But this is the thing. This is why you want to be diversifying where you get your message out and keep standing for the truth. You don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, as they say. And I really want to acknowledge everyone who was up on the screen, and in fact everyone here at the event as well. I want to acknowledge all the truth seekers and all the truth speakers for doing your bit. And you know, every little bit helps, because you never know the ripple effect of where a message can go and who can share that message, and you know, the difference you can make. So here's to all our truth seekers and truth speakers. Keep up the amazing work, keep up the good fight, and you know, there is an awakening out there. Maybe not everyone's speaking up about it, or not everyone's stepping out publicly, but there's a lot more awake people now than ever before particularly from what we've seen the last 5 years. People who definitely weren't awake are now very wide awake, and things are shifting. So it's going to take more of a concerted effort. I do have some amazing documentaries you can check out in my Conscious Community Global Facebook group. I recommend check that out. You'll find all my links at my linktr.ee/Aldwyn, which is in my bio, linktr.ee/Aldwyn. Now, tomorrow, the Free Speech Summit continues, okay? It's from about 9 till 6 o'clock or so tomorrow at the Mermaid Waters Hotel. You can get tickets online, and I believe you can turn up for free as well. I believe there's still some free tickets. So 9 till 6 tomorrow for those who want to know more, learn more. You'll never learn less about all this stuff. There's so much to know. So keep leaning in, keep being the change you wish to see in the world. If you're not happy about something, then get out, speak up about it. Make the difference that you're here to make. Aldwyn Aldernay now tuning out for the Gala Awards. That was so good. 2025 Independent Media Awards. Congratulations to everyone involved. Really, really enjoyed that. So great to see free speech celebrated. We definitely need more of this. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you again soon.